What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Taylor. You might be asking yourself, Taylor, why are you sitting on the ground? I actually hurt my back. This is 40, I guess. Anyways, I wanted to say thank you so much to all of you for helping this channel get to 69,000 subscribers. It feels like a pretty significant milestone. Maybe 70 is more appropriate, but you know, 69 is a funnier number. I thought we would commemorate this moment by doing a viewer comments video, so yeah, that's what we're doing. Let's just start. How do you manage your work-life balance and still manage to have time to play guitar and make YouTube videos? I don't. You know, truthfully, this is a really great question. I think that there's some misconceptions sometimes on like what this is and how it works. So let me peel back the curtain a little bit and tell you guys what's going on. I've been a full-time YouTuber more or less for the last, I don't know, maybe year. What happened when I first started doing my YouTube channel was I just made videos on the weekends, like every weekend for I think 2 years or something like that. I would just be out in my little studio making guitar videos and tomfoolery. And then the P word happened, so I was home a lot. And then what actually happened was I got fired from my job, but it gave me some more time to focus on YouTube, which is how I eventually started making money on YouTube. And then it sort of shifted where like YouTube was my main gig and I had other side gigs for a while. And then like the last year or so, it's only been YouTube and YouTube related things. Now, when it comes to work-life balance, I'm sure any small business owner will attest to this. There is a very fine line. It's not even really a line, it's like a gradient in between your work and your life because you are living it. And while this is the dream in a lot of ways, like I'm doing what I want to do and I love it. I love what I do. Sometimes you do have to set up a boundary and say like, I have to spend time with my family right now. I have to step away from this. I have to, you know, put my phone away from me and like detach myself from the internet. Because when you are the one person that's doing the thing, the small business, the YouTube channel, whatever it is, it can be really easy to become consumed by it. But you don't want to do that at the expense of missing out on, you know, your life. So the TLDR is, ironically, I sort of give myself a schedule, like as if I was working at a normal job. And, you know, I have things that I have to do. I have to go pick up my kids and stuff like that. I have to drop my son off at school in the morning. And that sort of stuff just keeps me balanced, I guess. Unless you hurt your back, and then there's no balance, just pain. Thanks for your question. By the way, real quick, this video is not sponsored. If you like this channel, you like the things you're seeing, you like the things that I do here, there are all sorts of ways that you can help out. I will leave stuff down in the description. I have new merch. It's hoodie weather. I have affiliate links down there. If you're gonna buy gear anyways, you know, use my affiliate links. It goes a long way into helping out the channel. I appreciate it. Back to the questions. If you had to eat one guitar, which one would you choose? Like if I was in a Saw movie or something like that? I don't know, any of them without a Floyd Rose, because can you imagine having to pass a Floyd Rose? Out of all of the cheap guitars from different companies that you have tried, what's the best one? That's gonna be really subjective based on your preferences, but I would say like, if I was trying to just be objective about it and look at the quality and the way that it showed up to me, either that really cheap Squier from Amazon or that Jackson, I think it was like the JS11 or whatever that I had on my channel. Both those guitars showed up and were really nice out of the box without any additional work or anything, you know? So probably one of those two. What were some of the major challenges you encountered while building your channel so far? Viewer count building, company relationship building, finding time, camera shyness, can't play for crap when you hit the red button, imposter syndrome. All right, man, all of that stuff. So this could be a very deep question with a lot of nuance that I could go pretty into the weeds on. If you want to build a channel, like if your whole goal is to like build something, it doesn't matter, a YouTube channel, business, you want to be a really good decathlon runner, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. If you want to get good at something, you want to be successful at something, the thing that I've found and the thing that I see other people struggle with is themselves. I would say for the vast majority of people, and again, this is my experience just interacting and talking with people, they just don't like to do hard things, you know? Nothing's truly worthwhile if it's easy, you know what I mean? Thanks for your question, man, I appreciate it. Firefly. Do I like BC Rich at all? I do. I don't have a ton of experience with BC Rich guitars, and when I started looking into buying some used ones, and then finding out that there's a ton of fake ones out there on the market, it just got overwhelming, and I was like, you know what, I'll revisit this when I have some more mental space for this on my brain hard drive. I do like BC Rich guitars. It's something that I would like to explore more. I just haven't had the opportunity to do it yet. Thanks for your question. What's your favorite guitar, the one that you play the most? It really changes like week to week or month to month even. Right now I'm vibing with this Jackson Soloist that is right here. Most of the time, unless it's a specific guitar related video, it's just whatever guitar I'm playing in the videos that you guys see. And I think that's probably pretty common too, you know, variety is the spice of life. But as far as like guitar brands go and the guitar brand that I vibe with the most consistently, probably Jackson. Thanks for your question. World tour or touring until gas money runs out? Seriously, do I like the 𝐿𝐼𝐄𝐿𝐄𝐻 pedal or the 𝐿𝐼𝐄𝐿 One? Thoughts? Okay, so touring. It's not in the cards at the moment, but you never know what'll happen in the future. I don't know, I can't say, but as of this moment, no plans on touring with the band or anything like that. Like, we're not even really playing shows right now. Everyone's just kind of busy doing their own things. So yeah, that is what it is. 𝐏𝐿𝐿 pedal, 𝐏𝐿𝐿, yeah, I like all the 𝐒𝐄𝐄𝐄𝐒 multimedia stuff that I've tried on my channel. I think it's all really, really cool. I like 𝐿𝐿𝐿, I like Amplitude a lot. I'm a big fan of the 𝐿𝐿𝐿 and the 𝐿𝐿𝐿 1 pedal. I imagine they're probably doing a big flagship 𝐿𝐿𝐿 multi-effects unit at some point. That'd be pretty sick, but you know, we'll wait and see what happens. But so far, I'm into it. Thanks for your question. My top 3 favorite horror movies. Any era in cinema history, you know, those films that no matter how many times you watch them, they constantly shine. That's a great non-guitar related question. If you guys are unaware, I do have a second channel that I never post to called Night Circles. I will link it down in the description. That's like the horror movie content. And also coincidentally today when I'm shooting this, it's Halloween, so that's cool too. 3 favorite horror movies. This is gonna be really difficult. I'm gonna try. Based off the criteria that no matter how many times I watch them, they still shine. So I'm gonna say number 1, Bram Stoker's Dracula. I think that that's like a timeless classic. It's such a great movie. And you would think that with Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder, it wouldn't hold up, like the acting would be pretty bad, but I think Gary Oldman kind of carries that movie. Gary Oldman does such a good job, and Francis Ford Coppola's direction just, yeah. Mwah, chef's kiss. Now I'd probably tie that to another movie, American Werewolf in London, for the same reasons, but I think that Bram Stoker's Dracula just, you know, is like a step up in a lot of ways. Number 2, The Shining. Obviously one of the best, most analyzed horror movies of all time. I actually have my own theory on The Shining. I've always thought it was really weird that you see Jack in the picture at the end of the movie. Like, that didn't make any sense to me, unless you just write it off as like some weird, woo, paranormal thing, but I don't think that Kubrick would put that in his movie without some deeper meaning behind it. So I do have my own thoughts on that. I will put that up on the Night Circles channel at some point, I imagine.
I think maybe he should be taken to a doctor.
As soon as possible. As soon as possible.
And then third, it's a total curveball. I'm gonna throw this in here based off the criteria. It's not really a horror movie. It's more of like a suspense drama movie, but There Will Be Blood.
I drink your milkshake. I drink it up!
Don't bully me, Daniel!
Did you think your song and dance and your superstition would help you, Eli? I am the third revelation. I told you I would eat you.
We're family.
I told you I would eat you up.
We're brothers!
It's one of the best movies of all time. It's fantastic. S-tier movie, in my opinion. Thanks for the question, man. I appreciate that one. What are your current live rig thoughts? And given the bevy of great preamp pedals and modelers available, do you feel like shaking things up, keeping the rack unit alive, or doing the 𝐿𝐿𝐿 1 with the devil up front? So that really depends. It depends on the situation. Like, if I was playing live with my band, we don't have another guitar player or a bass player, so we use backing tracks, so I kind of have to have the rack rig. Like, that's how I run everything. That's how I overcome the obstacle of not having those members. If I was gonna play guitar in another band though, like some awesome band hit me up and wanted me to play guitar with them, wink wink, I would probably go minimalist. I would probably go like Quad Cortex or Tone Master Pro, something like that, and then just like a power amp pedal. You know, I would go like the least amount of things that I have to carry around possible, just for the economic value of it, if that makes sense. Thanks for your question, man. Have you ever, will you ever experiment with some of the discontinued Randall stuff? Yeah, I just did actually. I just did a Randall RG something or other with my buddy Simon. It's on the channel, you can check that out. I mean, I liked it. I thought it was really cool. And then as far as discontinued, I own a Randall Satan. You know, there is some discontinued and older Randall stuff popping up on the channel that could continue in the future as well. It's something I enjoy. Thanks for your question. What modeler has the least amount of latency? I have no idea. It's not something I'm really sensitive to. I don't think I've ever plugged in any amp modeler or multi-effects unit and been like, the latency is so bad on this. Except for the Mod Dwarf. It's pretty bad on that one. Yeah, other than that, haven't noticed. Thanks for your question. Big fan of your recommendation for the 𝐒𝐿𝐿𝐿 key and gate pedal, so I bought one. Any recommendations for the EQ pedal? So that really depends on what you want that EQ pedal to do. I mean, if you just want an EQ for sculpting, you can get an EQ pedal on Amazon for like 30 bucks, you know? It's something that I think every guitar player should have in their arsenal. However, if you're already a big fan of the 𝐒𝐿𝐿𝐿 stuff, like aesthetically and what Daniel goes for sonically, then the Amber Spyglass is like his EQ pedal. I've never tried that personally, but I can't imagine it being bad. Like, everything I've ever tried from Daniel's good, so there you go. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? 10 knots. Gear collection video. That's something I'd be willing to do, but I have a lot of gear over 2 spaces, like here at home and then over at the office. If that's something you guys want to see, definitely comment in this video so that I know that there's some interest in it. But Yeah, that might be a really long, challenging video to make. I would have to figure out like a strategy for doing that. Is 69 my favorite number or is it 420? What is my all-time favorite amp and why? I don't really have a favorite number, I guess. I just think 69 is a funny number. All-time favorite amplifier. I was not lying when I said the Prometheus was one of the best amplifiers I had ever heard. And as a matter of fact, I pre-ordered one, so hopefully, you know, there'll be one here on the channel soon. But with that being said, I do need some time to validate that opinion. I need some like real time with it. While I had it here, I didn't have much playtime with it before I sent it off. So I do need some time to really validate that opinion, but that's a strong contender. And I would say the other one is the Ingle Savage Mark II. It's just a fantastic amplifier. So, you know, there you go. What the fuck? I don't know. Okay, now let's hop over to the questions from Discord. Which budget 5150 is the best? Bugera 6262 combo, 6505 plus 1x12 combo, 5150 iconic combo, 5153 combo, multi effects. I really didn't like the anti-1992 demos on YouTube. Those are all very different things that do very different things. I'm not a fan of combo amps in general, so those would all be off my list. I would say that the UA Audio anti-pedal was actually one of my favorite pieces of gear from this year. So if that's not something you vibe with, then I think my recommendation, in my opinion on this, might be a bad one for you. But I would say budget 5150 is the best. The Iconic is a really good amp, in my opinion. You know, the head. I haven't really messed around with the combos, like I said. I'm not a fan of combo amplifiers in general, but I thought that the 5150 Iconic did a very good job at being in the ballpark of 5150 amplifiers at a very cheap price with a bunch of really cool features. So hopefully that helps you. As you know, I've been following your channel from when it was a baby channel, and now look how it's grown. What is my outlook on the YouTube career path now that your channel has grown a lot versus when you started your channel? Wow, dude, this is a hard question to answer. Thank you for asking it. I would say that my outlook on my YouTube channel has changed in the way that I treat my channel a lot more like a profession now than I did when I started it. When I started it, it was very like casual, and I was just experimenting a lot. Like for 2 years, I was just trying to figure it out, trying to figure out how to use cameras and how to edit videos and you know, like how to even record guitar stuff, like all these things that I was just totally new at. I was just trying to figure these things out and learn. And now I view it a lot more as a profession, even though I'm not the most professional YouTuber in the world by any stretch of the imagination, but I try to plan things out. I try to be more consistent about, I've always been pretty consistent about uploading, but I just try to be more consistent about, you know, everything as a whole. And then I've also started to build businesses like Obsidian Audio, shout out to my business here, but I've tried to build other businesses that branch off YouTube to sort of give me a little bit more freedom with YouTube, so I don't have to take like certain sponsorships that I don't want to, certain sponsorships that I don't think fit the channel. But that's the biggest thing for me with my channel, is like over time I try to look at it more objectively from the outside, rather than being so emotionally attached to it as like this thing that like is me. My channel's not me, you know, I'm my channel, but it's not. Am I making sense? But yeah, I would say that that's the biggest change. Thank you so much for your question. Thank you for being a patron for all these years, dude. I really appreciate you. Best budget non-modeler metal amp for 9+ string guitars. Has to be an amp head, has to have internal distortion, can't be a model, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's a pretty narrow set of parameters. So I'm gonna say two things here. Number one is I would just say like the 5150 Iconic for the reasons that I mentioned earlier. I think it's a really good amplifier for the money. I think it does a lot of things. Does it work great with 9+ string guitars? I have no idea. You'd have to ask Andrew Bain that question. But yeah, I would say on a budget, your options for that are gonna be super limited with the parameters that you gave, so. Hopefully that answers your question. Thanks for asking. I know it's a meme question, but something that doesn't get brought up enough in metal. Hygiene. What do you use to keep your locks gorgeously clean for the camera, and any tips on staying fresh on the road and in the studio when you're being bombarded by lights? That's a great question, actually. More people should be talking about this in the metal space. So, my hair actually smells pretty good right now. I use Tresemme, not for any particular reason. I stayed in an Airbnb one time and they had Tresemme in the shower, and I was like, oh, that smells really good, and you know. Yeah, take a shower once in a while. That's probably a good tip. But for those of you that are like out on the road, get some defense wipes. Now, it doesn't have to be this brand. This is just the one I use because I used to use these when I would do jujitsu all the time and going between the gym and work or rehearsal or whatever. I always had these in my bag for those times where it's like, oh, I stink and I need to go into a meeting or something like that. They work fantastic. They have tea tree oil and stuff like that. They're just really, really great. And also, for the love of fucking Christ, brush your teeth, use some mouthwash. This is not hard stuff. Thanks so much for bringing that up. Hopefully I answered your question. Have I ever thought about making a Devil simulator plugin? So I don't think that I would ever make just the Devil plugin on its own, but it would be really cool to have an amp suite with the Devil plugin in it. And I do really want to release a plugin under Obsidian Audio, although I don't know what a time frame for that is. It's just like an idea at this point. Like, I kind of know what I want it to look like and what I want it to do. I just haven't gotten there yet. If there are any software developers out there that develop plugins, hit me up. I would like to chat with you about this. You know, maybe 2025. Maybe that'll be the year. Thanks for the question. Taylor, would you rather Mesa amp into a reactive load in IR or plug-in into a power amp and silent sister? I don't know what a silent sister is. Oh, like an isolation cabinet. Okay, cool. I would always rather go into a cabinet and move air. You're asking about the silent sister, which is an isolation cab. I'm assuming you're asking about that because noise is a factor. I don't have a ton of experience with isolation cabinets, but my guess is I would probably always prefer that. I always prefer miking up a real cabinet and moving air whenever I get the opportunity. It's just more fun. All right, thank you guys so much for your questions. Thank you for getting this channel to 69,000 subscribers. It's been a wild ride, man. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button. If you really like this channel, consider subscribing or being super OP and joining us over on Patreon. And we'll see you guys in the next video.